Morning everyone, Ian from DIY Home Gardening, 16th of June, so time for the mid-monthly update. Still no sun, and I'm full of hay fever. Perfect. So, if I turn the camera around, we can have a look as to what's happening. Just go the little journey down. There we are. Good fruit formation. So the blackberries are looking really good. It's been a perfect year for them, to be honest. Reasonable warmth, but with absolutely loads of water, so it's just absolutely laden. And same for the apple trees. These are developing very well. And considering that this tree was moved 2 years ago, it's recovered and doing very well indeed. This is the first year we've allowed it to produce fruits again. Well, it does appear that the squirrel's taken the odd one. It's the rhubarb there. This is the wild garlic, so you can see it's just getting to that point which I've been waiting for. Seeds to ripen, or heads to ripen, to produce the seed. So that's on my to-do list, is to harvest that. Time being, they can go in the pot. There's a fig cut in there, so it's been in this pot just this year, so it's starting to do well. Hopefully get those 3 figs ripened this year. Had to retie the gooseberry bush because it's got proper lean on now, absolutely laden. And there's its fruit, arugula plant. So these can only be bee pollinated. The flowers can be. You can see that there's fruits developing, just need the warmth. Tons of strawberries coming slowly. That plant's died though, unfortunately. Let's go in here first. So I've actually picked the first cucumber last night. There's some decent ones coming. Oh, you can see absolutely loads coming. Even the golden ones over the back there. Those are the Camellia sinensis, so the tea camellias. You can see that they've started to put on some fresh growth as well, so it won't be long before they're one potting up. That tray there, that's the last batch of golden mammoth pumpkins. So I only had 4 germinate, and then I put it back in, or back on the propagator, heated base. There's one more has germinated, but that's been really disappointing in terms of how it's done. At the back, very back there, the Bulgarian leeks. I was hoping for better germination on those, given how many seed I put in. And then a few other bits I'm working on as well. Still waiting on the turmeric to pop back into life. But let's go and have a look outside. So starting to get some decent sizing on tomatoes. Fruit formation on one or two. These are the pumpkins, I've had to pot them up. Incident with one yesterday, this door flung back and snapped it, but yeah, they're doing alright. Narangilla, potted up one, that's full of flower. And those are all they're the sweet peppers. One coming into fruit there, and then the rest are all the chili peppers. Doing their thing. Hydrangea cutting. Carnivorous down there. That's lemongrass. So there's not a lot left in here now. Still got the fennel to get out. I think that's probably it. Oh, and then I've got some verbascums to plant as well, but that's all we got in here. Oh, forgot about these. So these two troughs, ginger, and you've got the basil there. And that is the update for the garden. But we're going to have to go to the allotment after work because I'm running late. Right, we're up the allotment, 5 o'clock in the evening. So the sun's been out for a little bit today. It's actually quite hot, or been quite hot, 18 degrees. And so when that sun has come out, it's really dried out some of the newly planted bits. So you can see gooseberries starting to ripen up. And the black currants as well. The artichoke is going to be popping into flower soon. Won't be harvesting it this year. Now, telltale signs of aphids forming. Tomato, doing alright. I've planted a random pepper up here as well, just see how that does. Salvia for a bit of colour, try and entice a few things up. Let's do this side first. So, this bed here, well, the cover's been blown off multiple times now, which means that the birds have got in and been scruffing up all the ground. So they've actually had most of the, or disturbed most of the carrot seedlings, so there's hardly any coming up. I've sown some more seed in there. These are the parsnips, tomato. Got a couple of remaining beetroot. We've pulled the rest. Don't know what that one's like. Well, it's got a reasonable size now, starting to. Had quite a lot of radishes, so there's some good sizing again. So these are combination, well, these are all the mini pop sweet corn, a couple of rows of radish, then the Hestii runner beans, so that's a dwarf runner bean, that's basically a bush runner bean. Then the chickpeas, doing whatever they do. And onto this bed, so giving this a quick drink, newly planted beetroot there, just as a bit of a something to stick in, or a place to lose them. So these are next to some additional dahlias that I've got, which is Dark Diane, it's a bit of a trial one. Peas, well, plenty of flower on them, so hopefully that'll start translating into formation of some pods. I haven't seen any lately, well, as yet, but I'm sure. Oh, there's one. Starting to get a bit of weight to it as well, so I'm sure they'll translate into more pods. Pak choy starting to do its thing. My cutting. Kohlrabi in there. Beetroot kind of doing their thing, a little bit erratic. Here is the perpetual spinach that I planted in place of the garlic that I'd lifted. Elephant garlic, you can see now sort of collapsing over. Needs to be lifted really, but everything's just so wet, everything's been collapsing. So this is what I gave a quick drink to. Swiss chard, planted that last night. Did a couple of rows of swede as well. See how that does. Cabbage, doing what they kind of do. Look at these. So they're the Egyptian walking onions. Yeah, shallots bulking up quite nicely. That's the peas, Kelvedon. So they're starting to do their thing. Lovely colour on that sweet pea. Cabbage, row of leeks. So I did plant in a few additional red Russian kale to fill the space, and since that one's gone absolutely crazy. So we're going to have to start using that just to give a bit of light to these smaller ones. And you can see here that the black kale, Cavolo Nero, starting to grow a little bit. The onions, the only one that's not grown is that one right in the corner that has been eaten to pieces. My melon experiment, well, they're not looking too good. That's one. That's all that remains of the other, and the third one is gone. So yeah, so these were the shallots I lifted from where those Swiss chard have now been planted. Mixed sizing. I purposely planted them deeper to see if I could bulk up the numbers. I'd read an article where if you plant deep, then you encourage multiple bulb formation. If they go in more shallow, then you'll get a bigger bulb. So I went deep, and I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but there's definitely a lot of bulbs. I mean, yeah, it's got to be like, I don't know, 12, 15 in each of these bundles. So that's going to give a good amount for replanting next year. Obviously there are a few sizable ones amongst them, but certainly yeah, I shall plant them more shallow next year, or this autumn I should say, and see whether it does ring true that if they're more shallow then you get fewer bulbs but larger. The sort of hedge of Jerusalem artichoke starting to take shape. These are a few random garlics that I had put in. They're starting to, well, wanting to come out. You can see they're keeling over at the top. Sweet peas are coming out now. So I've pulled 6 of the first early potatoes. They were really good. Just got this little batch to go now. Been pulling quite a few of the broad beans. There's still a lot in here, but it's just keeping on top of them, so you're stripping off before they get too big, and when they get too big they get, well, they're not that enjoyable, to be honest. So even that is, well, actually that's all right. So once they start producing formation or showing the rippling effect of the bean inside, then they're past it really. So you want to have them just slightly undersized, much sweeter. Second early potatoes, Welsh onions doing what they do. Actually quite pleased now with the onions, the fact they've put on some growth. They've bulbed up, some have collapsed over, which showing that they're ready for lifting. So this is probably a job for next week. So Senchu, I mean obviously the red winter rubbish. Second year in a row actually they've been rubbish, but this year more rubbish than last year. Autumn giant, nothing giant about those, but some of them are there. First sign of the radishes, there's not many left, but they've been quite tasty. So where I pulled, let me show you before we go further down there. So get up here, I've cleaned them up. So this is the soft neck garlics. They're rubbish, but they'll be fine for planting next year. They're pretty poor as well. That's the early purple white. So those are the worst ones. And then sort of mixed results really in terms of garlic, which quite frankly better results than I was expecting. Yeah, some good sizing amongst some of those. And then the ones that have gone far side where the what were we saying? Can't remember what was planted. Oh, where the peas and that were. So these were over there. God, brain's gone. Music porcelain. And they were actually ones that were pretty poor over at the allotment the other allotment last year. So I'd replanted those as some singles or single rounds, and that's what's come out this year. So it just shows that, yeah, even if your crops aren't good one year, particularly on something like garlic, then you can save that bulb and reuse it. So this is where the soft neck garlic was, and what I've done a block there, or a couple of rows worth of beetroot. Then I've got celery, golden self blanching there, run of leeks or 2 runs of leeks. So I've read apparently if you plant leeks at close proximity to celery, it's meant to make celery taste sweeter. We shall see, don't know. And then that is Utah, so there's my normal sort of go-to green stem variety. And then I just put a couple of tomatillos in there, see how they do. These are the hardneck garlic, so they'll be coming out this week. And what I did, I've repaired this section to get the bed back into straightness as it should have been, as one of the stays had rotted, so that's gone there, that's been fixed. Dahlias, so they've had the tops taken out of them. You can see there, tops have come out, more obvious there. Had the tops out of those, all been caned, as you can see, had first supports put on, and just waiting for them to start shooting now really. So they had the tops taken out a week ago, so they should, well, I'll give them a feed this coming Tuesday, and then that should get them rocking and rolling. With a Three Sisters bed here, courgettes starting to come on quite nicely, make some size, as are the sweet corns. Cover really needs to come off because they're starting to touch now, so they need to come off, otherwise they start getting scorched. Yeah, the sorrel, the yellow fruiting one, and that's the Tuscan one, can't think what it's called, but produces sort of the more rounded globular shaped fruits. And last bed, so a mixture here of the squash and beans. So again, having taken the tops out of the beans and now starting to put on these side shoots, side growth, which is what we want. What I didn't want was for the squash to be eaten as badly as they have been. Hoping that they sort of recover. Planted a few of the leftover red Russian kales here as well, and then the 4 tromboncinos. Gave them some initial support. That one's kind of staying upright, the others are not, so I'm going to have to tie this, I think, try and keep it upright. These squash, which are, what are they? Oh, yucca-curies. They're starting to grow quite nicely, as you can see, and the other tromboncinos. So that's where we're at for middle of June update. And just as a by the way, before I started filming, I had to rescue this little guy. He'd put his head through the fence down at the bottom there to try and get some more grass, and got stuck. So my good deed for the day was rescuing 0057, so whatever he's called. But he seems happy enough now. So yeah, the hay fever's not happy though. Gonna have to sort that out. Let's look at the colours on that. Okay, so that's it. That's the middle of June update. Nice bit of nasturtium behind me. Tasty and some salad. Yeah, middle of June update done. We've finally seen a bit of sun today. Forecast for this week is sun, amazingly. Oh, and a bit of rain as well. But at least we got some sun and some warmth going on. So things should hopefully get going soon. Obviously, it'd be good to hear from a few of you to see how your sites and growing is comparing to how I've got it here in Essex. We have definitely had worse weather than a lot of the country. Don't know why. But yeah, if you've got any questions or messages, then please send them to me. It's always nice having a few more coming on board and sending, well, questions. If you like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on future videos. And above all else, just enjoy yourself, have fun and relax and take it all in, and especially if you've got the sheep around you. So till next time, bye for now.